Sounds like he is.
He'll still make an appearance because the docket was already sent out, but there was an agreed continuance.
Okay, so we're now on the record for Thursday morning's criminal docket for October 21st, 2021. And I'm calling CR 1901844-I, State of Texas versus Bernardino Alvarado.
Judge, good morning. Mauricio Martinez on behalf of Mr. Alvarado. I see him connecting on my screen.
Okay, so is this an arraignment hearing only this morning?
It is, Judge. I believe Mr. Sosa and myself made contact with the court. This is a case that was originally set for arraignment either in November or December, Judge. But this individual actually lives up in Wisconsin, and I got appointed to the case, and it had an active capias. In an attempt to recall the capias, I think the court just said it a little bit earlier for an arraignment. It's resisting arrest. I understand that this morning is the motion to suppress docket, but that's not what we're here for.
Okay. I know when I first saw it right away, I said, I don't know if he would be doing a virtual one.
No, and my client just, out of an abundance of caution, Judge, he's up in Wisconsin. We just want to make sure there's nothing pops up just in case.
Okay, that's fine. Mr. Alvarado, are you English speaking or Spanish speaking? Can you unmute yourself, please?
Hello?
Yes, sir. You're English
Yes, ma'am.
speaking?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sir, please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
Yes or
ma'am.
no, sir? Can't hear you. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, lower
Yes,
your
ma'am.
hand. Okay, in cause number CR 1901844-I, State of Texas versus Bernardino Abel Alvarado, is that your true and correct name, sir?
Yes.
Okay, and you're before the court charged with resisting arrest, search, or transport, which is a Class A misdemeanor. A Class A misdemeanor carries a potential penalty of up to 1 year in Hidalgo County Jail and up to a $4,000 fine upon conviction. Do you understand this range of punishment, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And has any court ever declared you to be mentally incompetent, crazy, or insane?
No, ma'am.
Counselor, in speaking with your client, do you find him to be mentally competent and able to assist you in his own defense?
Yes, ma'am.
I have not, Judge.
You find him competent to be and able to assist you in his own defense?
I apologize, Judge. I heard, have I ever found him being competent? I have not found him being competent. He is competent to assist in his defense. I apologize.
Trying to multitask this morning?
I really am, Judge. I'm in 3 courts. I apologize.
That's fine. Okay, at this time, the court will enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf, sir, and will further find that you are competent and able to assist your attorney in your defense. And also, I will recall any KPS that has been issued out under your name. And what is the next status date for him?
Actually, we do have a future one that was in December, but that arraignment date is already moved. So however long defense needs, the court will accommodate.
Judge, he's in Wisconsin, Judge. If I've got a little bit of time, I can speak with Mr. Sosa or Mr. Ramirez, and then maybe we can even get this resolved prior to the December setting. I don't mind doing something then.
Okay, what's the last criminal date? I think it's December 16th, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll go ahead and do December 16th at 1:30.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, anything else?
Judge, that's all I've got before you this morning. May we be excused?
You certainly may.
Thank you again, Judge. Sorry for not paying attention.
That's okay, I understand. Okay, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Aguilar.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Okay, let me let your client in. Mr. Mar, oh, he can't hear because he's trying to connect to audio. I can't, oh, I know he's trying. Do you have a cell number for him?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
You might want to contact him and see if he, or is he gonna try, or,
Okay. Let me message him. Let me call him. Yeah, Your Honor, I have him here on the phone. He says that his audio is not working. I don't know if you wanted me to have him log in and log back in, log out and log back in, or yeah.
that's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and put you back in the waiting room and put him back in the waiting room if he wants to, like, I'm gonna remove him
Okay.
and that way he can retry. And then, I'll put you back in the waiting room and let me skip you and then I'll go to the next one.
Okay, that works, Your Honor.
Okay, let me put you back in there. Okay. let me see. Mr. Galvan, it seems like your client is having trouble connecting to audio.
It does, Your Honor. I'm noticing the same thing. But Your Honor, I have discussed this case thoroughly with my client. He does know what is going to happen today. I don't know if the state would like to proceed with their announcement on this motion to suppress.
Well, I'm not gonna, until he shows up, then we'll move forward with it.
Okay.
I need him to be present and then any announcements will be done as soon as he can get on the screen.
I'm going to have my staff give him a call real quick, Your Honor.
It looks like he just tried logging out and logging back in. Let me see if he's. Okay. There he is. Let me see if he can do it now. There we go. Mr. Rivera, can you please turn your camera on? Is he English speaking?
Yes, yes, there he is.
Okay. All right, so let me call CR 1711460-I, State of Texas versus Reynaldo Treviño Rivera. Announcements?
Yes, Judge, for the sake of preserving the record, the state would still like to call the witnesses even though they will be unavailable. Therefore, the state calls Officer.
I'm sorry, Mr. Sosa, one moment. Let the defense announce himself and who he's representing.
Your Honor, Carlos Galvan for Reynaldo Rivera this morning.
Okay, Mr. Sosa, you may proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. As I was saying, for the sake of preserving the record, the state would still like to call the witnesses even though they will be unavailable. Firstly, the state calls Officer Jose Luis Espiricueta to the stand. Seeing how, I'm sorry, I thought the bailiff was gonna call
Yeah,
for him.
Mr. Damian, you'll have to call the name out.
Yes, ma'am. Corporal Espiricueta. Corporal Espiricueta. Corporal Espiricueta.
Seeing how the Corporal Espiricueta is unavailable, the state calls their second witness, George Cabrera.
Officer George Cabrera. Officer George Cabrera. Officer George Cabrera.
Seeing how both witnesses are unavailable, the state would just like to thank both officers for their service. It's very unfortunate that Jose Luis Espiricueta passed away in the line of duty, and we would like to thank their family and offer our sincerest condolences to him as well. George Cabrera, Officer George Cabrera, passed away from complications due to COVID-19, and we would like to extend the same appreciation and thank yous to him and his family for his service. At this moment, the state rests their case.
Mr. Galvan?
We don't have anything, Your Honor. We'd just like to echo the same sentiment as the state. We appreciate their service, and at this time, we have no witnesses.
The court would also like to echo the same sentiments to these gentlemen for their service in law enforcement. Very unfortunate, but in light of the situation, your motion to suppress is granted.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I do believe the state has submitted a motion to dismiss this case, and we ask that that be granted as well, Your Honor.
It'll be granted.
Thank you. We have nothing further. May we be excused?
You certainly may, sir.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Martinez has not reconnected, so I'm going to keep going.
Hello? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello, good morning. Hi,
Good morning,
Jonathan
sir.
Munoz. I'm filling in for Tanya.
Okay. Mr. Martinez, can you please turn on your camera?
This one as well? The previous date I gave you, Mr.
And Judge, if I may, Officer Danny Zaro should be in the waiting room.
Continuance is granted so that I won't take out a warrant at this time. However, you will need to be present at the
Okay.
next day. So
Mr. Munoz, I'm not sure if you have another court going on, but it's.
Oh, you can hear it? Sorry, I don't know. Let me see. Yes, all right. Let me see. Hold on, let me mute this.
Okay. Is your client English speaking or Spanish speaking?
English speaking, Your Honor.
Okay. Let me go ahead and call CR 210087-I, the state of Texas versus Luis Daniel Torres. Announcements?
Just one-
Yes, Your Honor. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, I spoke to my client. I spoke to Carlos Ramirez yesterday, and I spoke to my client yesterday. So we are going to take the recommendation of the state And so go ahead and set whatever we need to set to do the plea.
Okay, and how much time do you need for that plea paperwork?
I mean, 2 weeks, if that's possible.
Okay, what is the next plea date that we have?
I'm recording or something.
Within
Judge, we
that
have
time?
November the 2nd.
Okay, it'll be November 2nd at 1:30. All documents need to be submitted within 24 hours prior to that hearing.
Judge, if I can, just would request briefly that the defense stipulate that they're waiving the right to a motion to suppress.
So stipulated.
Okay. Officer Zarro, it seems that the defendant will be accepting a plea agreement and entering that in a few weeks. So I appreciate you coming in and taking time out of your day. And I thank you for your service, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, officer.
All right, then we'll see you back, Mr. Torres, on November 2nd at 1:30, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Munoz. You have a good day.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Okay, Mr. Martinez is still not on, so I'm gonna continue. Okay, I'm calling CR 21-06376-I and CR 21-06377-I, the state of Texas versus Eloy Angel Villarreal. Announcements, please.
Calixto Villarreal for Mr. Eloy Villarreal.
Mike went on behalf of the state, Judge.
Okay, and what are the announcements, gentlemen?
Judge, go ahead.
Okay, we're ready, Judge. Apparently, we got a call from the ADA that they needed more time. Their officer was ill. We have no objections if the court gives them more time, Judge.
Okay.
Judge,
Mr.
that was our announcement. We needed a continuance because the officer was sick and we weren't able to make contact with her until this morning. So we need additional time with her.
Okay, that's not a problem. The court will grant the state's motion for continuance. And go ahead, Mr. Villarreal, if you can assist the court in filing an order resetting hearing, and we will give you a new date, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay?
Can we be excused, Judge?
Yes, I was just going to state that the record reflect that the defendant is present.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Mr. Sosa, before we move forward on the number 7 on the court's docket, since they're accepting that plea agreement, your order denying the motion to suppress does have with prejudice, is that correct?
I believe so, Judge. I would need to confirm, but I think so.
Okay, just make sure. Or did he waived it though on the record, right?
He did. So,
Okay.
I mean, in any event, I would think that it's waived.
Yes, okay. All right, let me call, Mr. Osuna, are you ready? Mr. Osuna? I don't think he connected to audio.
Might have stepped away from his desk, Judge.
He's not connected to audio.
Perhaps we could send him a message to the chat.
Okay,
I'm gonna give him a call.
sure.
Sounds like he might be away from his desk.
Okay.
Your call is being forwarded.
Can you hear me, sir?
Voicemail.
Mr. Ibarra, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Okay, your attorney is is away from his desk at the moment. So I'm gonna put you back in the waiting room. Don't disconnect, okay? I'm gonna recall you shortly.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Mr. Almanza, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let me go ahead and call CR 20-27661-I, the state of Texas versus Daniela Xiomara, Siomara, Chavery, Chaverry. Mr. Almanza, I don't see anyone in my waiting room by that name.
Yes, Your Honor. She was in earlier. She started so plea documents were filed, Your Honor. She started a new job today at 10 a.m. It was training. She was actually at the training on the video, and they told her that if she didn't get off her phone, they were gonna fire. Like she couldn't complete the training, they were gonna send her home. I respectfully request just a 1 week reset, Your Honor. She really was gonna get fired. She called my office begging if we could do something. So I apologize, but the plea documents have been filed, Your Honor.
Okay, I believe the earliest setting, is that still the November 2nd setting or?
Yes, Judge, we can do the November 2nd setting at 1:30.
We're already stacked the following Thursday, Mr. Almanza. November 2nd at 1:30 would be the best.
No, that's perfect, Your Honor, because it's a 1 week training that starts at 10 a.m. every single day for the next week.
Okay. All right, sir. Then we'll see you then.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused? I have no further matters with the court.
You certainly may.
Yeah, I'll see you this afternoon, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Chapa, can you hear me?
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Is your client English speaking or Spanish speaking?
English, Judge.
All right, let me call CR 212088-I, State of Texas versus Alexandra Inez, Inez Esparza, Esparza. Announcements?
Judge, this is the case. I don't know if the court recalls back in September, defendant didn't appear. I explained to the court that basically it was a hiccup on my end for getting her. So the court wanted her to be present today. So she's here. That being said, Judge, there's a couple issues I'd like to take up to court very briefly. I already spoke with Mr. Sosa on this case, Judge, with the discovery issue. Basically, in the discovery reports,
Okay.
there is.
One moment, I'm sorry. Mrs. Esparza is stating in the chat that she cannot hear. My court coordinator has instructed her to try to connect to audio. So I'm going to give her an opportunity to do that. Let me go ahead and put her back in the waiting room so I can readmit her, and then she'll have another opportunity to do the audio. Let me try that. Doesn't look like it worked.
Well, Judge, for what it's worth, I did speak to her prior to the hearing. She's fully aware of the issues that I'm taking up with the court right now.
Okay, so go ahead and move on. I'm sorry.
Basically, there was a discovery issue. Part of that, the discovery that was provided to me indicated that there were some officers that Ms. Esparza was speaking to. I don't know who those officers were, what statements were made, whether any reports were made, anything that would be relevant under 39.14 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. I've spoken with Mr. Sosa about that. He's going to try and rectify the situation, see what there is, if any, evidence that needs to be turned over to me. And I just want to put that on the record. Additionally, there are 3 motions that I have filed with the court. A motion to reveal any agreement with the witnesses in this case, a motion to discover criminal histories of witnesses in the case, and a motion for the list of witnesses in this case. Again, I spoke with Mr. Sosa. He's in agreement with that, with those motions being granted. So I would ask that the court grant those motions. And other than that, Judge, this is a case where I've previously requested trial dates, and I understand the situation that the court's in. So I would just ask that we be placed on I guess, some sort of trial docket or whatever is convenient for the court, really.
Okay, so let's take it a step at a time. First, Mr. Sosa and Mr. Ramirez, you heard the motions that Mr. Chapa said that he had filed. What is your position on those motions?
That's correct, Judge. We're in agreement. However, the state, of course, reserves its right to file motions in limine or, to take up evidentiary hearings on those matters later. However, we're in agreement to, full disclosure and would be in agreement to those motions.
Okay, now, Mr. Chapa, then let me ask you, have your order grantings been filed?
They have, Judge.
Okay, then I'll go ahead and instruct my staff to request those from the clerk, and we'll have those forwarded to my queue for signature, okay?
Thank you, Judge.
All right, now the second thing, who is the alleged victim in this case?
It's ex-boyfriend, boyfriend. I'm not sure what the title would be. Yeah.
Okay, so has the state made contact with the alleged victim to see if the person is going to continue pursuing the matter?
Well, Judge, the whole issue here was that there was a pending felony. So the state was willing to consider dismissal in the future, pending the contingent on the resolution of that felony. The previous ADAs did contact the victim. However, the victim, I believe, is in custody right now, if I'm not mistaken.
He's still in custody.
So I haven't been able to contact him.
Okay, so do we know where the alleged victim is being held in custody?
I'm not sure, Mr. Chapa, would you be able to?
My assumption is Hidalgo County, Judge, but just with overcrowding, he could be in
In
It could be
Brooks.
Star, Brooks, I don't know.
Okay. So what is the status on her felony? Is it still, is the felony pending indictment or is she pending a court hearing date?
It's been indicted, Judge. I think waivers of arraignment were filed. I think it's just set for status at this point.
Okay, and when is that setting?
Judge, if I may,
Yes, ma'am.
I don't see that it's been indicted yet. Unless it's not previewed to the court, but there's no settings other than what's in our court.
I have a pretrial hearing for November 15th in the 92nd.
Okay, do you have a CR number?
The CR 1283 21A.
And I'm sorry, you said that was a pretrial on November what?
15th.
Okay. Okay, so we'll go ahead and come back on, let me see. I think December 16th is the last date that I have. Is that correct? Okay, so we'll come back on December 16th at 9:30. Let's see what's going on with her felony at that time. And hopefully by that time, the state could locate where it is that the alleged victim is being held. And also, we should be able to give you, we're very close to being able already, we worked on our trial docket and pre-trial settings. And just to give you a heads up, Mr. Chop, on those, we're looking at late May and in June. So we won't file in this court until about June.
I understood, Judge, and Mr. Oxford's whispering in my ear that she should be in Hidalgo County right now.
Okay. Well, not so quite whispering, Austin, I heard you.
Hi, Judge.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, so then we'll have her come back on December the 16th at 9:30. Let the record reflect that the defendant was present, did have audio problems, and then was, I think accidentally she kicked out.
She texted me, Judge, she's trying to get onto Zoom from her phone, but I'll fill her in.
That's fine, just let her know. All right, anything else?
I have nothing further, Judge. May I be excused?
You certainly may.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Longoria, it feels like if I don't see you twice a week, it's like I take forever to see you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, go ahead.
How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling good. It's just, I'm tired, Judge. I was in West Texas on some cases and man, it's a long drive, you know?
Oh yeah, it's also a different world.
You know, it was called Garza County and there was only 3 Mexicans, me and my client and somebody, and you know, somebody else. And but
yes, I know how that goes. Okay, CR 21-03872-I, State of Texas versus Jorge Eduardo Jaramillo. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is present. He's an English speaker. He's out on bond. Judge, I filed the PDD application today. I was trying to get a hold of your court yesterday to advise them that I had made a mistake. For some reason, I thought it had gone through, and so we submitted all the paperwork and everything. You know, he might be eligible. I mean, he has no priors. It's a reckless driving or speeding on the highway. But the problem that I explained to him is that he doesn't have a driver's license, and that might turn out to be a requirement. I know the state has offered a deferred also, but I wanted to see if maybe, you know, he'll be allowed to for an ADR or PTD.
Okay, so what I've seen on these cases, the driver's license is required on the PTD packet. However, I have seen, in full disclosure, like they say, I have seen that when you confer with the superiors there at the DA's office, they may allow an ID. They may. I'm not telling you that they will. They may allow an ID. I know that there were different circumstances those other couple of cases. So you might want to look into that. Now, I can ask Mr. Sosa and Mr. Ramirez if somebody can check if your client looks to be PTD eligible.
He is, Judge.
Okay, so he is PTD eligible. So, and just so Mr. Jaramillo knows that if they're going to require the driver's license, he needs to be upfront with you and let you know, is it feasible for him to get the driver's license? Because I will give him time to get it, but that's if he can. I don't know, does he meet all the other requirements? Does he have any outstanding fines anywhere? I mean, what's the holdup on getting his driver's license?
Yes, Your Honor, and the reason for that is he's received some tickets for no driver's license. And so he needs to track those places down and make those arrangements. He has his own business, Judge. He's a barber. He's got his own barber shop and got, I mean, he does okay. It's just that,
Yeah.
and he has no priors.
What speed are they alleging that he was going?
He was racing another vehicle. It was, do you remember the speed?
Okay, no, that's fine. Okay. So he's received some outstanding tickets. Has Mr. Jaramillo ever possessed a driver's license?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so you've never possessed a driver's license before. Okay, so do you think that after you pay these outstanding tickets, do you meet the other requirements to be able to get a driver's license? Obviously, you will have to take the test. You'll have to take a written test and you'll have to take a driving test.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he does know how to drive and all that. He's never.
He just needs to know how to drive within the speed limit and not have another car beside him, right? No, I'm just joking. Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Okay. So, look, this is what we can do. Do you want an opportunity for your client to try and pay those tickets and get his driver's license, Mr. Longoria?
I believe he does, Judge. It's just that he's never had the pressure to really do it, and that's what we were talking about this morning. He came in pretty early, and we've had a long conversation about that.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Okay. So just so you know, from the time that you finish paying the last ticket, Mr. Jaramillo, a good rule of thumb is you won't be able to get in even to test for 6 to 8 weeks because it's taking that long. So the first thing that you need to do is find out how much you owe and where it is that you owe. And, I honestly I don't know if you have a vehicle that's registered under your name and you go to the county where you get the registration for the vehicle with your name, they should be able to pull up and let you know all the outstanding tickets that you have. If you don't have a vehicle registered under your name, then you're just going to have to try and remember where you have all of those, or you'll have to request a history from the from the state, which is out of Austin. So I'm sure you'll need to figure that out. So look, why don't we do this? I'll have you come back on December the 16th at 9:30. Let's see if you have been able to get that information and if you have already started paying on those tickets. And that way you can tell me on that date, and then we can give you another date after that to give you the time to sign up, or if you're still on payment plans. And this way I don't lose track of you and you continue to have that pressure. Okay. All right. And Mr. Longoria, yes, yesterday was an unusually long day for my staff. We were on the civil docket until 1:45. So we didn't get to take lunch until 2. So really, they only had office time for about a couple of hours, and the phone was ridiculous at that time, I'm sure. So we do apologize for that, but unfortunately, it's unforeseen to see how long civil attorneys will be on. Wink, wink. And so it was just an unusually long day.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
And I mean, you know, I know, you know, for a year and a half now, it's been crazy.
oh, absolutely. It definitely has not been the same life that we've had before. So, all right, Mr. Jaramillo, then we'll see you back on December the 16th at 9:30 a.m., sir. Continue working and staying out of trouble, okay?
Thank
All
you.
right. You take care.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, let me see if Mr. Osuna is ready, because the other gentleman has still not come back on.
I managed to get him on the line. He was just away from his desk.
What? And this is off the record. I'm gonna be like, what happened, Jose? You got like a perfect streak going on.
Even pros make mistakes, Judge.
Yeah, he's still not on audio though. Let him know, text him that he's still out on audio.
I only have his office number. Let me give him a call. Okay, he's saying that it kicked him off and he's just trying to log back on.
He's in there. Says Jose Osuna.
We see you. You're
On my cell phone or a computer? 'Cause I can't bring it up on my cell phone.
Okay, now he's out.
I just try to log on my computer. I usually have less trouble with that.
Okay, tell him I'm gonna remove him and he's gonna have to use the link to get back in.
so the judge is going to remove you, and then you're going to have to use the link to get back in.
And then tell him that's being reported to the state. No, I'm just joking.
And we're reporting you to the Committee of Public Defenders.
Okay, let's try it again.
He's back in the waiting room.
Okay, he's saying he's in the waiting room.
There we go. He's on. Jose, can you hear us?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we're still off the record, Aquila. I said, what happened with Jose? I said, he has his perfect record, and then Eduardo started hating on you.
Oh.
I'm just joking. Okay, we're back on the record. We're on CR 20-03166-I, the state of Texas versus Alejandro Manuel Ibarra. Announcements?
Your Honor, we filed a motion asking that this court require the officer to possess their offense report during the suppression, as we're anticipating a Zoom hearing. We also asked that the officer be required to set their Zoom to speaker mode. Ultimately, Your Honor, my client enjoys a constitutional right to effective counsel. That requires that I have every cross-examination tool that he's entitled to by statute or case law at my disposal, Your Honor. At the end of the day, all we're asking for is that the Zoom hearing, that an in-person hearing be simulated as much as possible. I think this is not only fair for Mr. Ibarra, but also fair for the state. There is some disagreement on this, but as far as I'm concerned, refreshing somebody's memory is a prosecutor prerogative. Sometimes a defense attorney will use that, but it's usually the prosecution that's asking for that. We have staffed this matter with Mr. Sosa. I don't believe that they're in disagreement, Your Honor, so we are humbly asking if the motion can be granted. We did include an order with the officer's mailing address at DPS. That way the officer is duly informed of what we're asking for. Our order does include an exhibit that has instructions and a Zoom link. Setting to speaker mode is as simple as just, it's like a one-click kind of thing, Your Honor. It's really, really easy.
Mr. Ozuna, what is speaker mode? What's the advantage there?
So the speaker mode is, it avoids the Brady Bunch format. So when I'm talking, my head gets big. So in an instance where I have to show the officer something, she can actually see it rather than squinting at, one teeny tiny portion of the screen. But I did include in the exhibit the Zoom link as well as a visualization of what it takes. But it's real easy.
We're not opposed to that, Your Honor.
Okay, and you'll see it in the corner. I always have everyone on gallery, but you can put it on speaker and it'll only put the person that's speaking in the middle.
Understood.
Okay, so that'll be granted. And the other, did you have any objection, Mr. Leggett, to the officer being required to have the offense report as well?
No, Judge, we just briefly like to stipulate on the record with the officer present that to make her aware that she's not allowed to read from the report and testify from the report, but can only use the report to refresh her recollection and then testify based upon that refreshed recollection.
Okay, and what is the officer's name?
It's going to be Luce Howard, Trooper Luce Howard, Your Honor.
Okay, I do not have anyone in the waiting room by that name.
And Judge, I did make contact, well, attempted to make contact with Trooper this morning, was unable to. She did check in for this motion to suppress 2 days ago, Judge. We have an event saying that she checked in with our coordinator that sends out subpoenas. Let me try one moment briefly, Judge, to call her again on her cell phone.
Okay, and just for the record, this is who I have in the waiting room. Cesar Aguilar, Amira Aleman, an Officer Garcia, Sergeant Homero, it looks like Garza, and Sergeant Kevin Barron. Those are the only people I have in my waiting room.
Judge, briefly, as one last line of communication, if I could just have a second to go speak to the subpoena coordinator to see if maybe the officer or trooper rather had reached out this morning. Because the last note I have is her receiving the Zoom information 2 days ago. So she should be present.
Yes, we'll be on a 5-minute break. We are now off the record.
We're gonna lose the person. Yes.
Judge Okada, has our trooper checked in into the waiting area?
No, sir.
Okay, Judge, at this time, the state would respectfully
Hold
request
on, we're
for,
not on the record. We're not on the record.
yes, my apologies, Judge.
Hold on. I
But
gotta get my
off the record, just for your knowledge, Judge,
You're on live anyway, so.
he is, I believe the trooper, Luce Howard, is working a graveyard shift or just got off a graveyard shift, so likely might be asleep.
Okay, one moment. Let me get everybody back on.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, let me recall CR 20-03-166-I. State of Texas versus Alejandro Manuel Ibarra. Okay, Mr. Leggett?
Yes, Judge William Leggett on behalf of the state. I did speak with our subpoena coordinator who did jot down a note. Trooper Howard was working this last graveyard shift ending this morning at 7 a.m. Perhaps she accidentally fell asleep. In any event, Judge, the state would be seeking to request its, I believe its first continuance, motion for continuance here. I don't see any that we've urged in the past, Judge. I believe this is the first setting for this motion to suppress.
Okay, Mr. Osuna, any response?
Oh, yes, Your Honor, just in the interest of candor, Your Honor, we're not actually set for motion to suppress. I don't think there was a way to designate what I was actually asking for. We actually haven't filed a motion to suppress yet. We wanted to see what the resolution of my first motion was before asking for our motion to suppress, Your Honor.
I have you set for a motion to suppress.
Oh, yes. So at our last hearing, we had wanted to resolve this motion first because if the court didn't grant our motion, we were going to humbly ask for an in-person motion to suppress. I just didn't want my client to not be available. So I was actually not ready for a motion to suppress this morning, Your Honor. I was going to ask for an in-person if my motion was granted. If my motion wasn't granted, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, why don't we do this? Okay, so Ms. Rivera, can you let me know, did we fill up the slots for the in-person in January already?
Judge, give me 1 second. I believe that some were removed.
May I make a quick announcement, Your Honor, because it may relate to scheduling?
Sure.
Your Honor, a critical part of my case requires establishing the absence of features on the relevant highway. I am in contact with TxDOT, but since I'm asking them to help me prove a negative, I don't know what they're going to come back with. I suspect they can prove that a feature does exist, but I don't know if they're going to be able to give me evidence that a feature doesn't exist. So we were actually going to ask for one more status hearing. We don't have an investigator in our office right now. So we were going to ask for a status hearing in case we have to file an ex parte Ake motion to request an investigator, but we're hoping it doesn't come to that, Your Honor. We want to conserve judicial resources, but we're waiting to hear back from TxDOT.
Okay, let me ask, Mr. Ibarra, do you have an alcohol monitoring device?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I'll give the state an opportunity to ask. Mr. Leggett, go ahead.
Judge, at this time, I would like to note for the court's record, this is an DWI due to intoxication alleged of marijuana. The state is of the mind that perhaps a drug patch might be more on the nose as opposed to an alcohol monitoring device, Judge.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Osuna.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, Your Honor, if the court is inclined to require monitoring of some kind, Your Honor, we would humbly ask for maybe more frequent UAs just because it's a lot less expensive.
Has he had any violations, drug violations since his arrest?
No, Your Honor, the only thing I'm showing is a prior jailing for a felony assault. No subsequent jailings, not at least in Hidalgo County, Judge.
Okay. Well, right now I'm not going to put him on any kind of on the patch or require him to do a UA. He's been out on bond long enough and he hasn't picked up any new offenses. I'm going to go ahead and grant Mr. Osuna's request for a second status hearing. How far out do you need?
Your Honor, we would just ask for 1 month. I'm pretty sure we can resolve the evidence issues by then. And I know Mr. Ibarra is eager to get this case resolved.
Okay, December the 16th at 9:30.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then at that time, if you're ready to proceed with your motion to suppress, then we can give you a date to put on the order setting hearing at the time.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you all are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Me too. Okay, so let me see if Mr. Aguilar, now, do you all have, on Mr. Aguilar's case, are those the officers that are pending for that case?
Yes, Your Honor. All the officers you listed in the waiting room, they're all our witnesses, but one officer per case. They're all different officers.
Okay. Let me see if Mr. Aguilar, your client never came back on, sir.
Okay. He's not there with another phone, Your Honor?
Okay, is it under Myra Aleman?
It might be because I think he logged in with another phone because he was having trouble with his other phone, with his actual phone.
Let me see who this is.
Messaging.
Okay, Mr. Martinez, can you hear us now? You need to unmute yourself. There's a microphone that should be at the bottom left hand, on the bottom left-hand corner.
Can you hear me?
I can, there you go.
Okay. Sorry about that.
It's okay, it's very hard sometimes when you're using Zoom for the first time.
Yes.
All right, so you have 3 motions to suppress. Is that correct, Mr. Aguilar on file?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let me go ahead and I think the one that right now that we have some questions on for procedural wise is CR 146276-I. It's the state of Texas versus Roberto Cruz Martinez Jr. for the offense of driving while intoxicated, a second Class A misdemeanor. I believe I'll take announcements on this matter.
Is that the CR? I'm sorry, Your Honor, the 146276?
Yes.
Okay. On this one, Your Honor, the suppression issue that we're trying to look into is there was 2 officers. One of them was Deputy Perez and the other one was Officer Garza. We were trying to see if the probable cause issue, if Perez was going to be involved in the case, only for the reason being that he was the one that claims that saw him asleep behind the wheel, pulled them out. Yet once he pulled them out, left them outside of the vehicle, and then Garza came in to conduct everything else from there on out. So my question was, or to the state, is if both of them are going to be involved, and then if that's the case, and then I would draw my suppression. But if it's going to be only Garza, we would continue, because in trial, we would need both officers to be able to, one of them places on the wheel. And so we would want the one that places on the wheel to be involved in the case as well. So we can go ahead and move forward with the hearing on the suppression or trial. But I'm not too sure about his whereabouts or if he is involved in the case, which is Deputy Perez.
Okay, Mr. Sosa or Mr. Ramirez, what is your response?
See, our witness for this case is only Sergeant Garza. And but we'd like to begin with, Your Honor, that this has been addressed before in the past in 2015. And the motion to suppress was denied on March 16, 2015. And notice was sent to the attorney, Mr. Aguilar, on March 25th, 2015.
Okay, Mr. Aguilar, your response?
We were not aware of that, Your Honor. But if that is the case, and if Officer Perez is not involved, I mean, we wouldn't mind moving forward, Your Honor. And actually, I mean, if the suppression doesn't occur, and then just getting a trial date, because we believe that Officer Perez was the one that led to the arrest, and he's the one that initiated the case. Therefore, we would contest it in trial, Your Honor. If of course we can't move forward with the suppression today, we would leave that to the court's discretion, Your Honor.
Okay, so then let me ask you, the order that you're talking about, Mr. Ramirez, you're claiming that that order was already, that the issue that Mr. Aguilar is bringing forward today has already been decided upon by the previous court?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, hold on. And so and you're stating that that order, that suppression was denied on the record?
Yes, Your Honor.
However, the previous court, they never signed it, or did they sign it?
The order was not signed, Your Honor.
But it was ordered on the record?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, well, Mr. Aguilar, you know that if the court it's still an order from the court, even if it's given off the bench, and then we follow up with a written order. And if the state, do you have anything to present that states otherwise, that that it wasn't denied by the previous court?
No, we don't, Your Honor. We don't have we weren't aware about that, or hadn't seen an order out there, but we don't have anything else to show and prove and demonstrate that is otherwise.
Okay. So hold on real quick. Let me go ahead and look for myself. Give me the date, Mr. Ramirez, that you're stating that was noted.
It was denied on March 16th, 2015.
Okay. So the ruling was entered on March 24th, 2015, that the motion to suppress was denied. So the relief that you had requested on the motion to suppress that was originally filed, which was heard back on January 15th of 2015, was ruled on March 24th, 2015. Now that order on the motion to suppress, though, it was not requested from the clerk's office, but the ruling is entered by the court. So
Okay.
that motion to suppress is denied, and so therefore procedurally, I am going to have to request that the order from March 16, 2015 that was e-filed be forwarded to our queue so that I can sign off and complete the process of the ruling that was entered by Judge Palacios back on March 24th, 2015.
Okay, no, it's fine, Your Honor. We weren't aware of that, but yeah, we just asked for then a trial date on this case, then, Your Honor.
Okay, so what we'll do is, so is Mr. Martinez currently on an alcohol monitoring device?
Yes, Your Honor. He's been, from my understanding, since like 2014. Is that correct, Mr. Martinez?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Soto, do you have a report on Mr. Martinez?
Judge, I have no information on him. If I can get the vendor, I'll request reports.
Okay, Mr. Martinez, who do you have your device with?
That's a lifesaver.
Okay,
But,
and do you have a
but-
mobile alcohol monitoring device or an interlock device?
It's an interlock.
Okay, sir, what is your phone number?
It's 956-279-8944.
Okay, what we'll do is I'm gonna set him up on this case for a status hearing on December the 16th at 9:30.
Okay.
Okay? Now I'll go ahead and call CR 191506.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I apologize for interrupting. Can we excuse the witness, Sergeant Garza? He's currently in the waiting room.
Hold on, let me go ahead and admit him. Good morning, Sergeant.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, so it seems that we've discovered procedurally that this motion to suppress has already been previously denied by the court that had it originally. So I do appreciate you answering the subpoena, and I want to thank you for your service, but the issue is moot at this time.
Okay.
All right? Okay, thank you, sir. You have a good day and stay safe.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Okay, so then I'll call CR 191506-I, the state of Texas versus Roberto Martinez Jr. Announcements?
Your Honor, on this one, I do believe it was a case that arose two cases out of one, if I'm not mistaken, with Officer Kevin Baran. I have the same request, Your Honor. We were just seeing to see if he was still into the case because he was the lead officer that arrested. From what I read, it was there was different officers that got involved, and just wanted to make sure if Kevin Baran, I believe is his name, is the main leading officer in this case, and if he is present on the suppression, and also I guess if he's going to be present on trial, and then we would withdraw our suppression as well, Your Honor, because we just wanted to make sure that he is going to be the officer that's going to be conducting and moving forward on the case, because he's the one that claims the probable cause.
Okay, so Sergeant Kevin Barron is in my waiting room at this time.
Okay.
And if defense counsel is asking for, I guess, what, just confirmation?
Yeah,
that
confirmation,
this
Your Honor,
is
because
Sergeant,
yeah, because we did see the report. He's the one that led to the probable cause. And so we were going to contest the probable cause if he wouldn't be present, very similar to the previous case with the deputy and Garza, because they're the ones that led to the probable cause. But if not, yeah, Your Honor, we would do the same on this case. Withdraw the suppression request, Your Honor, and just ask for a trial date, Your Honor, so we don't waste the court's time. We do believe the probable cause as well. We just want to make sure that the officer was there for the probable cause. Moving forward with the case.
okay, Mr. Ramirez or Mr. Sosa, can you confirm for defense counsel that it is Sergeant Barron that will be testifying to probable cause at the time of the trial?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay, yes, it is, Mr. Aguilar.
Okay, Your Honor, that works. We can request a trial date, Your Honor, in the case as well.
Okay.
And we orally, yeah, withdraw our motion to withdraw, and it can be with prejudice, Your Honor, but we request a trial date.
Okay, so he'll have the same status hearing date of December the 16th at 9:30.
Okay,
And let me go ahead and bring Sergeant Barron in and let him know.
thank you, Your Honor.
Sergeant, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so I appreciate your patience, sir. The defendant has withdrawn his motion to suppress at this time. So it's unnecessary for you to testify until the time of trial. So I
Okay.
thank you for answering the subpoena and I thank you for your service, sir, but at this time you are excused.
Thank you so much.
You have a
Thank you,
good day.
Sergeant.
You too.
Sergeant.
Okay, let me call CR 1410275-I, the state of Texas versus Roberto Cruz Martinez Jr. for the offense of driving while intoxicated second, a class A misdemeanor. Announcements?
On that one, Your Honor, same, I believe that was the one that, I thought that was when Officer Barron was involved in.
Yes, Your Honor, I think we need to clarify. I think we mixed up the CR numbers.
I think so too, Judge. Barron was on CR 14-10-275.
Okay, well, I called out the other cause number and you all were said that that was Sergeant Barron. So you all need to pay attention to what cause number it is that I'm calling. So Sergeant Barron is on CR 1410275-I.
Correct.
That's correct, Judge.
Okay, so then who is the testifying officer for CR 1915060-I?
Juan Antonio Garcia.
Okay. Now, on this case number, now that we've clarified that, Mr. Aguilar, what is your announcement?
On this one, Your Honor, actually, I don't know why, maybe my staff had submitted a suppression. This one was going to we're going to try and resolve directly with the DA's office. This one's not a DWI. From my understanding was driving without a license or something like that. Or so we would, same thing on this one, Your Honor, asked if it can be withdrawn and we'll work this one out directly with the DA's office.
So do I set you on the plea docket?
Yes, Your Honor, you can set me on the plea docket on this one.
How far out?
If it can be about three weeks or so, Your Honor, 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, around the 9th then?
That works. Yeah, November 9th.
Okay, November 9th at 1:30. Let me let the officer know. It says, okay. Officer Garcia, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Judge.
Okay, so the defendant has withdrawn his motion to suppress with prejudice, so it is unnecessary for the hearing to move forward today. Your testimony will not be taken up today. It wouldn't be until the time of trial if it goes to trial. So I thank you for answering the subpoena, and I thank you, sir, for your service.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. You have a good day.
Thank you, officer.
Yes, thank you, guys.
Okay, that concludes this morning's docket. We are now off the record. Let me